This is the direction we want to start. We're going to work from left to right. We're going to start with the black tongue facing toward us. That's the direction we're going to work. So we've got this overhanging tongue at the back, and that's got to come off so we can slide this up to the left wall and our main wall like this. So when we get done cutting that off, this is what we have right here. This is now a 5-inch plank with a 1-inch tongue right there. So we're going to get those first two boards ready to go. We've got those. Next, what we've done, we've measured out, this material is now 6 inches wide, including this tongue. We want to leave a little bit of gap at the wall, so we've actually measured out 6 1/8 inches here, and we've drawn a straight line with a straight edge, or you can use a chalk line, but the goal is to get that line just as straight as we can get it. We want to start this first row straight. Next, what we want to do, we want to apply a row of tape. This is double back tape. We want to do that because we want to keep this first row from moving on us. As we pressure these next rows together, this is going to hold this first row down so it doesn't move around on us and kind of get that snake look going. So let's get this down here. Okay. And I'll take my roller and really roll it down to the floor so it can't move on us. Okay. So we'll go ahead and take some of the paper off here and expose part of the tape. There we go. And we'll take our first row. We're going to leave a gap on this end wall. We're going to leave about 1/8 of an inch gap for expansion. We're going to put this tongue right on that pencil line. We want to be right on there. We want to keep this first row as straight as we can get it. Okay, and we'll take our roller. We'll roll that onto the tape. We're nice and straight. Okay, we got a little bit of gap at the wall. A little gap at the wall there for expansion. We're all set. Okay, we'll take our second piece here. And we've cut the length on this, so we've left about 1/8 of an inch up against our wall right here. Expose the tape. We want to line up these ends. We're going to be really careful lining up these ends. We want this area, right where they come together, to be right on the money. Then we're going to lay this plank right on that pencil line again. Now we know we're nice and straight. We're straight across where the two planks come together. We're right on the line. We're keeping good and straight. Now we'll go ahead and roll this onto the tape. And then we'll really put pressure on this joint. We really want to get those adhesives to lock together. It takes pressure. You want to get it acclimated, make sure it's warm, room temperature. You want to get good pressure on there to get that adhesive to cross-link. And we've got our first row in. Okay, now we're going to do our second row. We've got our first row in. It's taped, it's solid, it can't move on us. Very important, we don't want that to move on us. Take our next plank, and we're going to lay it out there. We're going to double check, make sure we don't have too many repeats going on. We want to stagger these repeats to make sure you don't get too much overlap in the pattern. We want to stagger the pattern so that we don't get too close to a repeat there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about, in this case, I'm going to take about 8 inches off the end of this plank. And we'll score it with our utility knife. And we'll just snap that off. And now we're going to come up here. We're going to leave that same 1/8 inch gap we had here. And we're going to put these together. We're going to let you touch them. And I'm actually putting pretty good pressure in towards this plank that's been installed. And now you can see why that tape is so important. If I didn't have that first row taped to the floor, you'd be moving on us. And we don't want that to happen. So I've got good pressure in there. I'm going to lock those together. I'm going to take my roller. And I'm going to get my weight up on top of this. And I'm really going to put some pressure on this plank. I want that to really bond together. The more the better. Okay. That's well bonded right there. You see we've got our stagger right there. Okay, we'll take our next plank. And we'll get that oriented correctly. And we'll do the same thing. I'm going to hold this end up. I'm going to keep it off the adhesive. And I'm going to start right here where the corner is, right there. I'm going to start that corner. I'm going to put good pressure in. It won't move on us because it's tape. And I can get a good fit right there. And I can roll this down I'm pushing with my right hand, I'm pushing in to keep that locked in there as tight as I can get it as I feed that down to the floor. Keep that locked in. Take my roller, really get that pressure on there again. I say you can't put too much pressure on there, the more the better. We really want to transition that adhesive together. So really good pressure. Across the end. There we go, we got our second piece in. We got a small cut up to the wall here we have to do. So we're going to take our next plank, make sure it's oriented the correct direction. That's what we're going to do. We're going to turn this plank around. We're going to put it right up to the wall. And right here, where they come together, we're going to cut those with about 1/8 of an inch gap right there. And you can, if you're good with a free hand, you can cut this off. If not, you can use a square. You just want to come across here with this piece. And we're going to snap that off like that. Turn it around. We'll feed that small piece right into place there. Perfect right there. And then we'll roll that one. Okay, so we've got our second row complete. Now this plank becomes, we'll turn this back the correct oriented direction, this becomes our first board for the third row. We're just going to bring it down. And now here's where you have to look at this starter row. We want to maintain what we call random stagger. We're going to take what comes off the end, we're going to put it down here. If we were to put this directly in where it is now, we've got a joint between the wood that actually matches up too close. We like to stagger these a little bit more than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the 6 inches back to this, and we'll give it maybe another 6 inches. So I'm actually going to take from this end, I'm actually going to remove 12 inches. We'll snap that off. We're going to come up here and we're going to pressure that together. We've got our 1/8 inch gap. Good pressure in. Really pressure in that end. And then we'll roll that down. Really good pressure. Get your body weight right up on there. Pressure that together. And there's the start of our third row. Okay, we're going to continue on with our third row. So we'll take our next plank, get it oriented the right direction. And here again, we're going to get up where right here, where we've got the angle, where the two pieces came together, and we're going to push right into that corner. Really good pressure. And then with my right hand, I'm pushing in again, and I'm just keeping good pressure between those two, and I can take my finger and kind of thumb that together. Good pressure in the whole way. Take that roller, get that pressure on it, really anchor those together. Heat and pressure, room temperature. 65, 68, 70 plus degrees, fantastic. Floor, room, material, it's going to make those adhesives really anchor. Good pressure. You do that, you got a really good job. Make sure we get the end roll. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're going to finish this in. We're going to take our next plank, orient it the correct direction, turn it around backwards and slide it to the wall. Get nice and square. Take our knife, and we're going to be about 1/8 of an inch short of where they actually come together here. Make a mark. If you want to use a square, you can do that. If you're pretty good at freehanding, you can just go ahead and go across the plank with, we're not going through, we're just scoring it. I'm going to snap that off. Bring it up. Good pressure where they come together. Good pressure in. Right where we want it. And then we're going to roll that on. Really good pressure. Don't miss any spots. Really put the pressure on it.